And we are good to go.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our Thursday morning business chat. Many times the topic of this chat shows up from yesterday's director's call. It was a juicy call, so we want to share the juice with you. And we have two visitors. We have two of our directors visiting us right now. They're off to Yellowstone Park today and off the grid, so they won't be joining us. But John Ward and Adele Good, and John had this idea, and it would be really helpful for us to share those words that work in every different part of the business. So we started brainstorming yesterday, and it was really, really, really fun. So we just want to start out the call with setting a little context in that, our job, of course, is to give people enough information to make an informed decision, to invite them, but to create curiosity. And how do we do that? And so we've talked many times about open-ended questions, questions that people can extrapolate on, not yes, no, one word.
Just by accident.
Am I not talking at all?
There, I unmuted us. I was trying to mute some noise in the background. If everyone could stay muted, that would be very helpful in the recording here.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about open-ended questions and questions that create curiosity, like, what do you know about stem cells? Are you experiencing any of the signs or symptoms of the aging process? That's a yes or no question, but it gets people to chuckle. And if you get people to laugh, it opens them up. So we just had a really fun time, and we wanted to share the juice with you that happened on our call yesterday. And Gregory put together a lot of the comments and lines and ideas. And this is a living document because you have things to contribute to. And we have several of our directors on the line, and we want to get some input from you. So how do you want to take it from here?
Would you mind just speak a little bit more about the power of open-ended questions? I think that's really important for people to understand.
More than I said.
More than you said.
Okay. So open-ended questions are a way not to just create curiosity, but to really get to learn more about someone. And you're planting seeds and creating curiosity at the same time. So by saying, what would you, one of the favorite questions, Connie uses the magic wand. Terry Warner gave us this question, if there was something that could help you, well, I'm going to actually do it a different way. If I had a magic wand and one thing could be better in your health, that would make the biggest difference, what would that be, and how would your life change? So those kind of questions really help people kind of think about what do they want more of, and that helps us understand what they want.
So now I'm going to share my screen, and we've got a list.
A long list.
We came up with a really juicy list of, we're calling it words that work. And this will be uploaded in the Live Younger Facebook right after the call here. I just finished it up about 5 minutes ago, taking the notes from the director's call to put it into a Word document. And you can amuse, but you'll see a lot of these are open-ended questions that get engagement. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to thank all the directors that participated in this to create this juicy document, words that work. Notes from our 5/10/23 Live Younger Directors Mastermind meeting, which we look forward to having all of you, getting to the directors level and above, and joining us there. But I want to preface it by this, Phil Jones, probably the best direct sales trainer I've ever heard, spoke at a conference a few years ago, and he's just brilliant. And he said something that stuck with me. If you only get one key thing out of an event, it can change your life and your business. And he said, our job is to interrupt people long enough to make them interested in something they did not know exists. Because people don't know stem cell patches exist. They don't know about phototherapy. They don't know about activating your stem cells. So, and as Robin was sharing, questions, ask questions to create curiosity. Then our job is to give them enough information to make an informed decision. And I love the way you handle it, Robin. You know,
Can't
she loves
figure out
to,
why. I can't
she
hear
loves
him.
to ask, somebody's unmuted, and if you could please keep yourself muted. And Tim, if you could watch out for that, that would be helpful.
My name is Annette.
Oh, it was Annette.
I want you muted.
Okay, so I'm going to mute Annette. Thank you for noticing that. Thank you. And okay, so we're gonna try and keep everybody muted, and then we'll have a chance to you know, have some Q&A at the end. But Robin likes to ask people, once you get engagement, you know, you create curiosity to get engagement. Once you get engagement, you can ask people, do you like a lot of information or a little information? You know, but I'm just going to go briefly through some of these questions that we came up with, and then suggest that you download this document, print it out, put it on your hard drive, modify it, highlight it,
Add to it.
do what you like. But it's the power of words, and you want to create curiosity that leads to engagement. You know, you give them enough information to make them interested in something they didn't know exists, and you start asking some questions, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So this first one we learned from Terry Warner. It's brilliant. If there, and let me find my cursor here. It seems to disappear off my screen every once in a while. If there was one thing you could change in your health or the health of someone you love and care for, what would it be? And then pause, you know, give them a moment to think about it. And maybe they'll even say, well, you know, I just get out of breath really easily, or, you know, my blood pressure, or whatever it is.
Sleep or pain relief
You know,
or whatever.
you know, and say, and what difference it would make for you or for them to, if that were to improve? Because they might say, gosh, if I could help my grandmother or my mother, my brother, my sister, my wife, you know, it's what one thing could, you know, if there's one thing that could change your health or someone you love and care for, what would it be? And, you know, what difference would it make to improve that? And along the same line is, if there was one thing that would make a big difference in your personal or professional life, what would that be? That's kind of a take up, but it's getting engagement. And, you know, I learned from a direct sales trainer I worked with years ago, a fellow by the name of Tommy Hopkins. He's the #1 direct sales trainer in the real estate industry. It was, I don't know, maybe he still is, maybe he's not, but that was a while ago. That was back in the 90s, right? But he said, you qualify before you present. I went to a 3-day training with him, and that's all I remember, but that stuck with me. That was enough. Qualify before you prevent. If there was one thing that would make a big difference in your personal professional life, what would that be? Now you're getting to find out a little bit about them. You know, my lumpuckaroo has really been acting up, or, you know, I'm just sick and tired of my job. You know, I'm this, I'm that. And this, you know, some of this is a little redundant. Didn't have enough time to totally clean it all up. This is a little redundant. Number 3 is, there's one thing about your health you'd like to change. If there's any, and this is a key thing. If there's one thing about your health you'd like to change, what would it be? And listen. And then say, and is there anything else you'd like to improve in your health in addition to that? Because I've found that many people have 2 reasons or 2 answers. The first one and the real one. Okay. Oh, you know, I'd like some more energy. Well, is there anything else? Well, yeah, you know, I can't hike anymore because my knee's bothering me so much. So in addition to that, is there anything else that, you know, that you'd like to see changing in your health? And this is where the one you spoke about earlier, Robin, the magic wand.
Yep. So, and Connie brought this one on because she started using the magic wand. Well, she's, you know, as in her hair salon with her clients.
Mhm.
And so she would ask this, if I had a magic wand and you could change one thing, what would it be? And so we're getting people to think outside of natural logic even. Because sometimes people think, well, I'm just getting old and it can't get better. But if you have a magic wand, anything can get better. So it's really fun to play with this. And again, Gregory said, there's a lot of redundancy here. So you want to play with this and find words that work for you. And
Mhm.
again, Terry Werner used this term, which we call kind of permission marketing. And, if there's something that was safe and natural and effective that could, really make a difference with whatever they shared with you was their
Mhm.
challenge, what is your willingness to learn about it?
Yeah.
So we're looking for people that are open. We
Mhm.
don't want to waste our time. This is back to what Gregory said. We're qualifying people because our time is our most precious asset.
Mhm.
So you want to really qualify before you get into too much detail. And, one of the biggest challenges that us networkers have is we like to talk, and sometimes we talk too much. And so we want to qualify before we present, and we want to learn from them before we share and make sure they're open.
So ask good questions and listen twice as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen. So one of our favorites, it typically gets a chuckle, and this is not an open-ended question. It's kind of a yes, no, but it gets a chuckle, and laughter opens people's hearts. Are you experiencing any of the signs and symptoms of the aging process? And, with, my grandchildren, that they don't laugh about that. They don't get the question, right? But my kids are starting to get the question. All of our friends understand the question. So I think that's a really good one. And, I'm just curious, what do you know about stem cells? And this is part of that qualifying before you present, because they might say, oh, yeah, I just spent $30,000 on stem cell injections. And oh, really? Congratulations. How'd that work for you? So now you know who you're talking to. You're talking to someone that knows the benefits of stem cells and may or may not experience the benefits, but they know, and that opens the door. And somebody else might say, what's a stem cell? Those are two different people. You got to approach it two different ways. So, and that flows with the next one. Say, well, hey, I've come across or I've discovered a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation technology. And let me tell you what happened to me. And we like to add that word activation.
Yeah. And not all of these are open-ended questions, but some of them are, and some of them are just lines that work, that
Mhm.
people are using, that are really supporting, connecting with people, creating curiosity, opening people up, moving them down the journey. So you get to learn about them. And I think you're going to enjoy the rest. So keep going, honey.
And so along this line with number 8 is number 9. You could say, I finally found something to help me with. In Robin, it would be her knee. I finally found something to help me with my knee. For you, it might be, I finally found something to help my husband with his locked shoulder. Because it doesn't have to be you personally. It could be someone you're close to or know. Sunshine might say, I finally found something to help me, be able to smell flowers.
Yeah.
Which is very beautiful. It's wonderful. So I finally found something that could help me with, or I finally found something that I finally realized what I want to be when I get older, younger. Just imagine if you could feel years younger. What if you could change the trajectory of your aging process? And so these are just kind of engagement questions, and to get people dialogue going. And as Robin was moving us in a direction, she doesn't push, she was moving us in a direction. You want to work with the willing. And by asking these questions, somebody might be totally closed, and you put out a couple of feelers, and if they don't bite, you might just say next. Okay. But if you put out some feelers, you get engagement, at some point, you can start moving people from curiosity to commitment. And these next group of questions kind of move us in the direction of getting people to make a decision. Just checking to see if you have any questions or need any more information. And this is probably after the second or third exposure, after they've watched 1 or 2 videos, maybe done a 3-way call. You're checking and say, just checking to see if you need have any questions or need any more information to help you make a decision. And sometimes people are just ready to go, and, don't oversell. Okay. When someone's ready to get started, take the order. And I've seen so many times that people are giving buying signs. This sounds really interesting. What's it take to get started? Tell them and get them started. So, so you might say, are you ready to get started? Is there any more information you need before getting started, or any variation of this? But you're just want to know, do you need more information to make a decision? And that decision might be yes, might be no. If you do a good job, it's probably going to be yes. But, some people are just closed up. And again, next, work with the willing. Our job is not to convince, as we said up top. Our job is to get people enough information to make an informed decision that's best suited for them, not for you. And they need to feel that you're really working to help them, better their life, to enhance and extend life. What else do you need to know in order to move forward? Maybe they say, I really need to talk to my wife about this. I need to talk to my husband about this. I want to talk to my doctor about it. We hope they don't say that. Because we need some words at work when they do say that, because their doctor's not going to know what it is and probably won't recommend it, right? But since we're sending out videos, what did you like best about the video I sent?
Or what interested you most?
Excellent.
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 And I think we want to
Shuffle.
Yeah,
Yes.
because this would become before the other ones.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to play around with these. It's all really fresh. And we want your input too, because I know each of you use certain lines that work. So we just want to share the wealth with each other, and know that, you want to always authentically be yourself. And if some of these don't fit for you, if you're not into magic wands, then you might not want to use that
Don't
one.
use it.
Yeah.
But these are words at work that come from directors, and the proof's in the pudding that they made it to director. So we got input from, well, I didn't put names, but this is a lot of people's input from our director's call yesterday. So what else do you need? I'm curious. This is a really good one. How would you rate your interest level on a 1 to 10 level? How would you rate your interest on a 1 to 10 level? And we got this from Kai Jacobson, and he's 45 years in network marketing. And if they're a 7 or above, let's get them to 9 or 10 and let's take an order. They're probably ready to do a trial order. If they're a 6 or below, you need to take them they need more information, because you're probably not going to get an order out of someone that's still at a 6 or below. And say, that's great. That really helps me. So if you're on a 1 to 10 scale, your interest is 5, then you can go back to some of these other questions. What additional information do you need to get that up to a 7 or 8? And they'll tell you, well, is there really any testing that proves this? Or, have you heard of people with elbow, or this issue or that issue having results? They just need a little bit more information. So, the last couple here, I have something I think you're going to like. No, wait, I know you're going to like it. Being very confident about it. I got something I think you're going to like. No, wait a minute. I know you're going to like it. How would you like to change the way you age and live younger longer? Many of us have friends. That would be a very fine approach you could take with something, sitting over coffee or a glass of tea or a glass of wine. Hey, I think I've come across something I think you're going to like. No, wait a minute. I know you're going to like this, and show your joy and your enthusiasm and your confidence.
And I've shared with some of my friends, I don't want to get younger without you, and, and they perk up. And if you know what's important to people, some people, it's more important what their face looks like than getting rid of their aches and pains.
Yep.
You just got to get to know them and get the right information and questions to them.
So then, subsequent to that phrase, there's many things you could say. I came across something that can help change the way we age. I've come across a new affordable technology to activate your own stem cells. I've come across some phototherapy technology or some light energy patches, any of these other things. And the last thing I'll just share, and then we'll open it up for some
Additions,
comments, Q&A, and other. Someone yesterday, I forgot who it was, shared some phrases from Tom Big L Schreider.
That was Judy.
It was Judy, thank you. And he's one of the pioneers in simple direct selling words that work. And if you can get a hold of one of his books, I know you'll enjoy it. They're very small, fast read,
Potent.
probably all out of print, but they're around. And he likes, I'm just curious, are you experiencing any of the signs and symptoms of aging? Or, well, well, how I feel about getting old. It ain't so cool. There's an old saying, age is a feeling, not a number. So you can put anything after these, and most people, just don't realize that there is technology available out there now to actually reverse the aging process. So with that being said, Sunshower, you've got your hand up. I'd love to hear from you.
And then Heidi.
And then Heidi.
Well, thanks so much, everybody. Wow, I love this list, and I'm going to print it out in a really big print. I wish I could bilocate. I could not be at the director and above call yesterday because I was out teaching watercolor on the Red Rocks in Sedona.
Oh, I wish I was there with you doing that.
But what a juicy conversation. So just a couple of things that I'd like to add is, maybe these terms, these phrases, they aren't the typical thing that just roll off your tongue.
Mhm.
So maybe it would be fun to practice with someone
Yeah.
in your household, or maybe your sponsor. A way to find out if a person's like a 7 or above these days is, the use of our bling on our patches. So obviously guys aren't going to do that, but there must be a way. We can figure out a way for the
Oh,
guys.
no, John Ward is all over it. He's got smiley faces and hearts, and he's got all kinds of stuff. So
Well, I love it.
there's no limit to the decor you can put on your patches to
Right.
attract curiosity.
Right. So if a person is a 7 or above, and you just happen to be, showing your arm or your hand or something, you got some bling, and somebody goes, wow, what's that? Then you probably have a 9 or a 10 right there. But if you introduce this, like, you've said one of the other phrases and they're like, what are you talking? Well, actually, I'm using this patch right now. Oh, I thought maybe you had some disease or something, or you're trying to stop one of your bad habits or something. Oh, no, this is actually reactivating my own stem cells. That's why I'm getting younger and younger. My hair is getting darker. I have all this energy. The other thing I just like to point out is a really great book by Helen Gregerson. I'll put it in the chat. Questions are the answer. Remember that from way back, you guys?
Yeah. Question for the answer.
Yeah, that
good.
really points to the listening part, right?
That's really good.
Mhm.
Thanks, Sunshine.
Yep.
And next time we get to Sedona, we'll go watercoloring.
Oh, you better. It's so fun. Everybody loves it.
I will. Go
Okay.
ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Gregory. Thank you so much for the training. You and Robin, I love how you consolidate things so I can take screenshots while I'm paying attention today. I wanted to add something in the fact that we're having an upcoming event in Tampa here where I'm within 3 hours. I just wanted to say something wonderful that happened last night. I went to my very first live in-person event for like guests that was not a convention. And it was so amazing to answer these questions to someone that was not one of my guests. Someone was just asking where the trash can was for the water cups that were being offered. And I walked over and I said, so are you going to enroll as a gold or a silver? And he said, well, I need to know if this would help my eyes. And I looked down, I tilted it down my eyes and I went, well, these are brand new glasses. And just so you know, I have 3 years worth of glasses and my eyes have gotten better to 5 years back. And I said, so I just decided to put new glasses on. And he goes, So do I need to get a prescription from I answered every single question. And finally, I asked the one question that's on your list, Gregory, and that's, is there anything else you need to know before you fill out this enrollment page? And I signed it up for whoever he was there with, and I didn't even know who he was there with.
Nice.
So what I'm saying is that we've got to be at those events because there's so many people that have so many questions, and you don't know if you're going to be that person to help someone else that's in your cross line, your down line, your up line, and just have fun.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
I wonder why
I'm making.
Oh,
Anyway, thank you, Heidi. Okay, anyone else have, if any questions or comments, any of the directors who were on, it'd be fun to hear from you. Otherwise, open to any questions from anyone here.
oh, and Helen, I think, are you on, Helen? Because Helen had something to share. And Phil Jones was brought up. He did a 6-week program. He spoke at our conference. He did a 6-week program that you can still access. The details are in the chat, and it's Empower Live Younger LifeWave.
EmpowerLifeWave.com.
Okay, go for it, Helen.
Password is lowercase x 39.
So what did you want to share this morning? Because you already shared it with me.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, what I, feel so important is, stem cells is, buzzy and people know it, but what do they really know about what a stem cell does, for them? So I believe the importance of knowing what a stem cell does is what they need to know. And one of the simple things I say that is very effective, and we've all heard it before, but I'll say, did you realize that when you were born, you had 1 billion stem cells? By your 30s, you were down to 0.5%, 50% down. By your 60s, you're at 10%, and 70s, like, pretty much none. And, the stem cells, are the very most important thing that your body needs to regenerate, to bring it into homeostasis. So, the simplest way to make more stem cells is, and the easiest way is to put this little, and most affordable is to put this little patch on your body, because it will begin the stem cells, and your body's own innate wisdom knows where you need it the most. So it will go to where your body, can help survive and eventually to thrive. That's a simple thing I say, and it works every time.
All right.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Helen.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Who else wants to share?
John, go ahead, John.
John.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when I've been with LifeWave now for five months, and my background has been in corporate sales. And what I've noticed for me, and these are great questions to ask, but I always like to get down to the absolute fundamental of maybe who I'm talking to. And for me, my biggest challenge, my biggest obstacle is how I had an attitude about network marketing. And I see that everywhere I go is, if I can get down to people who understand and know network marketing, boy, is it a lot easier to be able to talk about these things in a fundamental way. And that's what's been my challenge. So as I keep learning how to get LifeWave out there to as many people as possible, I'm finding out that the places of least resistance is for me to learn more about network marketing and work with those people besides other people who don't know network marketing, so I can teach them. But that's been my biggest challenge. And so I think these are great questions, but I also like to go right down to the fundamental of network marketing.
Yeah, and that's kind of,
We can do a whole call on that,
yeah,
John.
and that's really good. And many times that's step 2, because I found even with networkers, you got to sell them on the product first.
Yeah.
And then if that piques your interest and say, oh, by the way, this company's friggin' exploding. They've had 15x growth in the last 4 years, and it's because in 60 to 70% of that growth is all the X39, the stem cell activation technology. So you really need to take a look at this. But, most people are, if I'm calling, an old fellow networker, I might lead with that. Hey, I just came across a company that's grown 15 times in the last 4 years. You need to hear about this. But I think 9 out of 10 times people are going to lead. I just came across a breakthrough in stem cell activation technology. It's revolutionizing the stem cell industry. which is the fastest growing segment of health sciences. You can go as deep in that direction as you want. But the real turning point for LifeWave is having a stem cell technology and giving us the power to pitch and use that powerful phraseology, stem cell, because stem cell gets people's attention. It's like antioxidant was 30 years ago, probably even more powerful, but be happy to work with you on some of that, John, too.
Okay,
So
thank you.
And Gregory, we have that Y LifeWave line now. I think we could just do some updates with all that fabulous new improvement of numbers in our company, huh?
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Good idea.
So
Maybe I should interview him again.
we are at the past the
Oh my
bottom of the
gosh,
hour.
already?
We try and keep these calls down to, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my
See if
share
there's any more messages.
and,
Any.
darling. And let me check the chat real quick, see if there's any
It was on you, just
Any
turned it off.
chats.
See if there's anything else in the chat we need to mention. Okay. All right, there's a whole bunch of good stuff in there. All right. Anything else here? So what I'm, inviting us all to do is watch yourself, be an observer of yourself. Like Helen says, when I say this, it always works. When I ask people, are you experiencing any of the signs or symptoms of the aging process? People laugh and then they open up.
Mhm.
And then I'll say, what else? But what are some of the things that you're saying through the whole process? And I mean, in my head, I see a whole huge document with, from the invitation to the presentation to the follow-up, there's lines that we all use and we can share with each other and make our lives easier, because some may fit for you and some may not. But please do share, and we will put a document together and get that to everybody. We want to do a little refining first, but we'll make sure that you have this document. Anyone else have any final comments?
I
or
just want to
additions?
answer one question about the power of the patch. There are 3 different speakers. There's Connie Lucas, Janet Kiefer, and Gregory Muscari. And Liz, if you could chime in with me, if you could remember, I think it's Connie on Monday, Janet on Tuesday, Gregory on Wednesday. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then Thursday, Connie, Friday, Janet, Saturday, Connie, Sunday, Janet. I'm only doing it once. I only do it on Wednesday, and I use a different PowerPoint than Janet and Connie use on the other days. So if you want to see mine, it's the same thing that's at liveyoungerreplays.com. You don't have, so if you want to see my 17-minute presentation, it's at liveyoungerreplays.com. If you like that, you want someone to see that in the power of the patch, invite him on a Wednesday. And we probably should publish somewhere who's doing it when, because some of you, are in Janet's group or in Connie's group, may want to promote people more on that day than the other day. And some people may even want to promote me, who knows? But good question. Thanks for that question. And we'll make that available somewhere. Okay. Any final questions, or can we call this call, bring this call to a wrap? Okay. Well, I love it when a plan comes together. Love spending this time together with all of you. And if you'd like unmute. There goes my uncle.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice
Thanks,
day.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody.
Thank you. Live Younger rocks.
Training.
Tampa.
Bye-bye.
Calendars rock.
Have a great
Bye,
day.
everyone.
Thank you
What a
so much,
great
guys.
training.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Shannon.
You too, Shannon. Thank you. Love your smile.